I created a 3D model of the Jewish temple in Jerusalem as it existed in the first century of the Common Era. I had a couple of goals. I really wanted to try to make a 3D model of something that no longer existed, because in the first semester in the introductory course, I created a model using photogrammetry of something that did exist. The temple in Jerusalem was destroyed in the year 70 CE, so it definitely does not exist. But there's a lot of literature about it, written records from the time that describe it. I wanted to do that in part because it has a lot of educational value for people of Jewish or Christian or Muslim faiths, and I wanted to see how it would inform my reading of biblical stories. I initially created the structure in Autodesk AutoFusion 360, and then I exported it to AutoFusion 3ds Max in order to arrange the different parts of the model, to add textures to make it look like it was actually stone, and to take rendered pictures. I learned a bunch of stuff. One of the pieces initially when I was doing the research to create the model, everything that I was reading seemed pretty consistent as far as descriptions of the temple, but as I tried to construct it in detail, I learned that there were subtle nuances and ways that different sources, even sources from the first century, contradicted each other. And so there's a lot of things we actually aren't sure about, like where the temple was on the Temple Mount. I also learned that the location of the temple and the way that the Temple Mount was structured really changes how certain stories in the Bible make sense. So, the cleansing of the temple is one example of a story that really changes its meaning once you understand where it was taking place. As I tried to figure out how to lay out the temple and the Temple Mount together, I discovered a bunch of different theories about where the temple was on the Temple Mount. And as I laid them out together, I found that all of the theories were problematic in some way. And so I was able to identify where they worked and where they contradicted either geography of the layout of the topography or the original sources, the primary sources from the time. I initially, for this project, was only able to do the surface of the Temple Mount and the temple. But the Temple Mount is obviously elevated, and so I'd like to create the rest of the Temple Mount to show how people entered through tunnels into the surface of the Temple Mount, because I didn't know that myself. And I also want to be able to move it into an interactive platform so that I can use it in the context of religious education or theological education.